What's up, Josh?
Do
you have a dinger?
I've got the metal cup. So
that is my weak ass bell for the night. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Anchor Watch. This is the night because I'm not Up and Adam, even though you see Up and Adam here, and you are on Up and Adam's channel. We are Josh and Jason taking over Up and Adam's channel to talk Below Deck and also recap this week's episode of Below Deck Med. I am really excited because we actually have someone from the cast tonight joining us. So I don't think we should make him wait backstage.
No, let's not make him wait. That would be rude to our guests. Let's bring him up.
So we're going to bring up Reid Jenkins, who is the deckhand on this season of Below Deck Med. So excited to talk to him. I'll bring him up and then I'll tell you a funny story.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Welcome, buddy.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. I'm really glad to be here.
Well, and it's funny too. I was gonna say we have the new guy on the show, but no, we don't have the new guy. Now we have a new guy.
We have the newest guy.
Reid's old hat. He's an old crew member at this point.
You're right. You know what's so funny? Reid is I think we were both in at the Fort Lauderdale boat show this past weekend, and I was messaging you, and I was trying so many times to try to get together with you, but we got so busy and slammed. And drunk, but
no, that's true. I'll tell you, the boat show is so much fun because it's just people going and looking at yachts and having that like yachting experience. Roll Tide, Jennifer. But it's so crazy because I'm finally feel like I get to enjoy the yachting because it's just craziness. You know, we work behind all the time, but yeah. Yeah,
no, 100%.
Yeah, I was going to ask Reid. So we, obviously on Below Deck, we caught you for, a few weeks of your career, but like, how often are you out on the waters? Like, is this like, how are you working full time right now in the business, or like, how does that work?
Yeah. So prior to coming onto the show, I actually had going on 2 years of experience in yachting. I worked on an 80-meter, glad to be here, Aaron. Worked on an 80-meter boat. And so I had a really great experience with all of that, but my family has a marina in North Alabama. I grew up on the water. I grew up driving our boats. I remember I was probably 13 the first time I took out like a 50-foot boat, and I'm up at the upper helm, like backing this boat out of the slip, and this old dude's running down the dock like, wait, because all he sees is this 13-year-old kid. Taking out this big boat. I don't know. I have no idea what he thought, and my dad pops out. He's like, "No, it's okay. It's fine." So now full time, I'm a marine surveyor. I still do temporary yacht work because I miss being on the water so much. But also I do small yacht deliveries. So
very cool.
About 50 to 80 feet.
Okay. I think that was one of the biggest questions we all had. It's like, okay, how does this guy from Alabama who lives in Tennessee, like, how does he get into yachting? So that was good to know. I know we heard a little bit about it on the show, but to get that background that's really interesting. That's really interesting. How did you find it? I want to ask, like, without giving stuff away, but like having cameras around you all the time, because is that the first time you've had that experience?
First time
catching your every move
24/7. Yes. I mean, it's crazy, right? So there's cameras right there in our bunk. So I walk in.
We see.
Yeah, so I didn't really watch the show. I had seen a couple of episodes, but I'd come in and I was told, hey, there's cameras everywhere. But then experiencing it, like, it's really crazy because I'd like go in and I'd be changing my shirt, but you'd hear the camera turn just like a as it turns on you, and you know it's watching you. It was a really crazy experience, very unnerving at times, but I got used to it right at the end.
Of course. Yeah, like right as you're leaving, you're like, oh, now this feels comfortable. That's funny. I was gonna say, for you, with this experience, like what's kind of like the 5 or the 10-year plan? Like, do you want to captain one day, or do you want to be in this business in some other capacity? What's sort of like, what's Reid's, future look like? At least that you're working towards, or you think?
That's a good question. Yeah, I'm actually very curious.
It's a very fantastic question, and you know what? If I had the answer, I would be very thankful. I'm actually going back to Fort Lauderdale here, hopefully soon. Hopefully before December, but definitely before January. And I'm going to MPT. It's a maritime training program. I'm gonna get my 200-ton mate license, upgrading what I already have, which is my 100-ton captain's license, and that's how I'm able to do small yacht deliveries now. But yeah, honestly, it changes every day. I really wish I had a better answer for you because I know that's so vague. But
so then let me ask this: the industry. Do you think you want to stay in the industry then, at least in some capacity?
Yeah, I would. Well, I would love to have at least my feet in the water. You know, I may not want to do a backflip off the diving board, but I definitely want to be wading in the shallow end. You know,
Yeah.
I love it so much. I got back and I couldn't sleep right for about 6 months because for going on 2 years, I was falling asleep to rocking, you know. So yeah, I'll be involved for a while.
Reid, I can empathize. Early in my career, like early, like 19 years old, I toured with Ringling Brothers Circus, and I lived in a circus train.
Star acrobat.
No, I was not an acrobat. I lived on a circus train, and I got so used to that click clack, click clack, click clack, click clack, click clack, click clack as the train's going while you're sleeping, and that swaying. I totally know what you mean. And then after a while, it's like it becomes almost like this white noise machine, or this your body does adapt to like wanting that constant rhythm and stimulation while you sleep. So yeah, so now I just have my wife just gently rock me and just
whispering in your ear.
Yeah, making train noises.
Click clack.
Yeah.
I have a question too, because like Josh and I were kind of telling you before we got on here, we used to tour with Cirque du Soleil for over a decade, and it's hard living out of a suitcase. It's hard having relationships, and the people you work and play with, sometimes you kind of want to get away from, right? Do you find yourself able to have like a better life not being kind of on the road?
Oh
boy, you're gonna cause some problems here.
Why?
His girlfriend's listening.
No, I bet she's watching Schitt's Creek right now. But
the best show.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that life is better, because the relationships you develop, like in Fort Lauderdale, I got to meet up with a bunch of my former crew. They're so close, they're so tight. I mean, the things that I miss the most, right? The relationships. When you work so hard all the time, you get so close. The stability is a little nice, but again, I say yachting is one of the most stable jobs in the world. You know where your food's coming from. You know, you don't have to do your laundry. Well, someone does. And you're not paying insurance or rent and all that kind of stuff. So you don't have any of these adult worries that we have post-college or post-high school for some. And that is a little addicting, honestly. But I don't think it's a better life. It's just a different one. And that's why I miss it. I miss some of the easiness. I miss some of the challenges every day.
I know, like, obviously, like, we can't ask, like, oh, can you tell us something that's coming up or anything like that? But I'm just curious, is there anything cool that happened because they do have to edit, whole days, whole weeks down to, an episode sometimes. Was there any like cool moments that you experienced that you wish had made it, but just because of the, obviously they can't show everything. Was there any cool moments or anything that you experienced that you wish like, oh, this would have been neat if it ended up on the show or something like that?
Yeah. And there were several. I do want to say, I kind of want to dismiss this whole bad edit theory for a lot of people. Some people, I'm sure it happens. Some people it doesn't. But I really feel like in my experience, the producers did really well to get this whole character arc, to see exactly what happens, even though they cut out some of the things. But there were some nights that just the guys went out, and it would have been really cool to see because we had such a great time. I mean, we got really close. And then there's times that had to be cut out. Like Courtney and I, honestly, were singing a duet, but because it's copyrighted music, they can't play it.
That makes sense.
So yeah, really, I feel like they didn't cut out anything bad. They didn't cut out anything too good that would have changed the story. They got it pretty much just right. But I mean, you got some bad moments that were cut out there. I slept in one night and they cut that out. And when I watched the episode, I was like, yes, I don't look bad, you know? Like, I'll freely admit that, you know?
You know, I gotta say, I thought it was really cool that they gave, you know, us as viewers, we walked away, at least Jason and I, when we were talking about in one of our recaps, we walked away from like, because you had that little hiccup with Courtney where she mistook something and you were trying to make a joke and it just didn't come out right. And it didn't sit well with her. But like, it was cool that they showed that like you were totally remorseful and you immediately stepped in and was like, hey, I got to make this good sort of thing. And you also came off as genuine. And so I know for Jason, like that really won us over because we're like, yeah, first of all, there's very few, I think, mistakes a person can make in life that doesn't allow for redemption. But like this was such a small thing in comparison to stuff. So I see what you mean. Like I feel like at least for your character arc and like the things that you went through, they gave you a really good opportunity for us to see like the, you know, a mistake was made and then the correction on your part and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, we've seen some seasons where it's like one problem becomes Jason's on mute.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. Look at us, the professionals, right?
Yeah.
No, shit. What was I even gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say it's reality TV gold. We love the quick conflict and resolution. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd love to get that all in an episode if we could. You know, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
So
and
anyway,
that's, you know, that's one thing is like my parents, they raised me, hey, you know, be quick to think so you can be creative, but also be quick to admit when you're wrong.
100%.
So,
Reid,
Yeah,
I
I
have a
think it's
question
admirable
for
quality.
you. That so you were in the yachting industry before, right? You've done these jobs before. Is there?
Correct.
Because I talked to a lot of different people, especially this past weekend at the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, and a lot of people, you know, there's kind of like a stigma when it comes to below deck. But then like you talk to some people, and some people are like, no, these situations actually happen. It's not just TV. It's just sometimes it's heightened. Or I talk to some people where it's like, no, the situations in below deck are like nothing compared to real life yachting, you know, whatever. How do you feel like the show compares to real life yachting?
So I smile so much because I am thinking about a story that I probably shouldn't share, but I'm going to.
Amazing.
So someone I'll be as vague as possible so
Cool.
someone doesn't get annoyed with me. But let's just say one time I worked on a boat, right? And one of the guys I worked with happened to have slept with two other girls that shared a cabin and both had boyfriends at the time, right? So this stuff happens. Like, it's crazy because you live, work, and play with the same people.
The question is, Reid, did you apologize after?
Oh.
I'm kidding. It wasn't Reid. I don't want to start that rumor. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, he's a dog. No. But so yeah, you were going. I'm sorry. I interrupted your story.
No, but and there are other things. Like, I personally have had very intense fights and personal disagreements with people, more than what you can resolve in something, you know, 5 minutes later, right? Or 10 minutes later. Something that takes a lot of weeks to recoup, and not my fault on that one, but it gets really stressful. Like you said, Josh, you live, you work, and you play with these people, and over time, sometimes those small things that aggravate you, something about me aggravated somebody else, it just wears on you, and things kind of blow up sometimes. So yeah, no, it absolutely happens all the time.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah,
that's crazy. You know, it's funny because being introduced to because below deck brings a lot of awareness, like what the yachting world is for people who don't know it. But the yachting industry seems like so big and so small at the same time. It's really hard to describe. I feel like, does everyone know each other? Do you all know each other?
Yeah.
Or do you run into each other?
It's really nuts. So COVID was a different period of time, obviously, because you couldn't hang out or meet people. But I was down at the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, and these people are like, "Hey, you remember we met at this bar in St. Thomas, or we met at, this place in Nice." It's and forgive me, I didn't remember any of them, but once they told me who they were and how we met, I was, yes, I remember you. And it's of such a small world. So Storm went on and is currently working on a boat that I'm friends with one of the deckhands on board, because she and I met at a crew house, right? So it's such a small world. When she posted a picture of him, I'm just like, holy crap, how do you know Storm? It's just like, we're working together.
Yeah, I'd imagine if it's like one of those worlds that's small enough to where it's like, if you haven't worked with them or met them yet, you've worked with someone who has worked with them, sort of thing. And if you took 10 minutes and chatted about crews you've worked with, they'd be like, oh yeah, I worked with him, or I worked with her. Like,
those conversations are so common.
Yeah. Can I ask just two last questions? I know you're a busy guy, and I know I don't want to take up too much of your time tonight, but how was it to work with Captain Sandy? And who was your favorite colleague on board?
Wow.
Or maybe who you were
actually make me
with.
say that,
Or maybe without saying your favorite, maybe like who you were tightest with or something.
There we go.
So I'll answer part B in two parts, but obviously I'll get to A first. I honestly really enjoyed Sandy. I know that she gets some hate online about her micromanaging and everything like that, but I never felt like that was the case. Genuinely, I felt like she was a fantastic captain. She trusted Storm to delegate, and then she trusted us to accomplish everything like that. There were a couple of times where she said, hey, I like this to do this way. And I'm like, yes, sir. I'm kidding. Yes, ma'am. Caught that one. But that was the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to me, but that's a sidebar. But no, I honestly, I really enjoyed working with her. I respected her as a captain, and I think she was extremely capable.
Yeah, it's funny. I think she catches heat from I was just gonna say, I think she catches heat from her when she first was on television and stuff. She was more the micromanager, but Jason and I are two of the people who've been fans of hers since pretty much she started. But that is one thing we've said, is particularly this season, you've seen she has grown so much. I mean, she's been doing the job for years, and then she's getting better and better and better. And it's what you said absolutely came across to us was she's been delegating. She trusts her team. The only time she stepped in was when thank God we have a captain here. Someone please step in and set this straight. So I think she did exactly with what you said. I think that came across, and we've noticed just with the fans who we have watching the show and stuff and chatting with us, they always, I'm saying I always trash Captain Sandy. What are you talking about? I've noticed the sentiment of everybody else too has everyone else is pointing out yeah, she's grown, she's gotten better and stuff. So yeah. Okay. Now.
Well, and that's honestly a great segue into point B, because I think that she trusted Storm so much because seriously, Storm was one of my favorite. I mean, in every industry I've worked in, I've had a lot of bosses. He was one of my favorite bosses I've ever had. I think he was extremely capable. He was trusting, and he delegated well. He communicated well. Now, whatever that says about anyone else that worked under him, I don't know. But I felt like he communicated well. I thought that he earned my respect, for lack of any other word. He earned my respect, and that's someone I wanted to work for the whole time. I would say, though, really to answer your question, who I got closest with was honestly Kyle. I know Kyle's been getting a lot of hate from a lot of people, and whether or not that's fair, I leave up to everyone else's judgment. But Kyle and I pretty much talk every other day.
Nice.
Nat and I got close.
We love Kyle.
But Kyle and I were probably the closest, yeah.
Kyle did an amazing interview with Adam, and they shared a lot of, their coming out story, but also, a lot about the show. And we just saw him at BravoCon. We went to his party, and he is a bundle of energy, right? Like he just makes you want to smile and be happy. It was my first time meeting him. He's like, "Hey, babe," and I'm like, "Oh my god, like, hey, like, how's it going?" He's amazing. So before I let you go, Reid, because listen, I know we're only supposed to keep you for a few minutes, and again, we have to say thank you so much for coming on here tonight. This is such a fun conversation. It gives us a little insight to what we're watching, and I think that's also important for people to hear. But there was a question up here earlier, and I'm wondering if you could answer this or would want to, but will Reid be open to returning to Below Deck? Or would you be open to returning if they asked you? You mentioned you had a girlfriend.
The short answer is yes.
Okay.
I absolutely would. And of course, that's up to them. That's their decision. I have nothing to do with that. I'm very jealous, for lack of a better word, for no other reason than I see the relationships that a lot of these people have with each other. And I didn't really get to get that. And I know that you can get that a lot in as kind of what yachting is sometimes. But I mean, I genuinely think that everyone on that boat was a fantastic person. I loved working with every single one of them. And I wish I could have had more time. We all got maybe an hour, 2 hours in a hotel room right before we all left. And I genuinely, when I walked out, I was like, not a terribly emotional person, but I got really, really close to tears. It's like, this is the most bittersweet moment of my entire life. I'm so thankful I had it, but I just wish I could have had more just with them.
That's amazing.
Well, Reid, you've been fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to the finale because it looks like some of your commentary on people getting loose and stuff. I was like, oh boy, here we go. I have a feeling we're in for a fun episode. Especially if you're talking about regretting it and your grandmother being disappointed in you. I was like, oh boy, this is gonna get good.
Well, I hope you enjoy. I certainly enjoyed filming all of it, and more than anything, I've certainly enjoyed hearing y'all's words. I have watched every single week, and
oh my gosh,
really everyone that's reached out or said a nice comment. It's been fantastic.
Well, thanks, Reid, and a testament to you to jump in this season, with these last few charters left, and we were all hoping for like someone good because that deck team has been torn apart this whole season. So it was nice to bring in someone with your energy,
Reid, do you have anything you want to share, like an Instagram or anything where people that want to follow you can follow you, anything like that?
All of my handles on all my social media. I graduated with well, it was a major. I demoted it to a minor so I could have a good senior year. But I learned in PR, you keep it all the same, but it's all Reid M. Jenkins, or EID M. Jenkins. And that's every single social handle. I mean, and everyone feel free to reach out. I love responding to everyone if they do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, follow Reid. Let's see where his adventures go even after Below Deck. Follow him, Reid M. Jenkins, everywhere.
Yeah, and listen, if you're in Fort Lauderdale, let me know. I think I owe you a drink because I asked if we could get a drink. So if you make it down here, let us know.
I will certainly let y'all know. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time tonight.
All right, thank you, Reid. Thanks a lot.
Have a great evening.
All right, guys, that was Reid, of course, deckhand from the current season of Below Deck Med. Awesome guy.
That was a lot of fun. Man, I love having the opportunity. I mean, this happens every time we get to speak with someone from the show, but getting to know the person behind the show and hearing their motivations on why they want to go on, stuff like that. I don't know. I find it super compelling. And I think judging from the chat, everyone was really liking it, and a lot of Reid fans in here. So that's great.
A lot of Reid fans in here. Love that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. To get that insight. So too. And I know, guys, every week, sometimes you are messaging me, hey, get to the damn recap. I will time stamp all of this for you because it's definitely the replay crew who wants that for sure. So I'll definitely do that. I hope it was just awesome to talk to him. Oh, all right. Well, we got to jump into this episode because one question I wanted to ask is Reid, but I want to be respectful, but is Reid a really good flirt? Do we think Reid is a good flirt, especially with this new Stu, Elena?
Well, now I feel horrible talking about this with it. We just spoke about him and his girlfriend. I thought it's funny when he stayed up late and helped her with her duties, and he was folding stuff till like 4 a.m. with her. The first thing Natalie said was, "Oh my god, he knows exactly. He knows what he's doing." Like,
I mean, look at it two ways. You look at it like that too, or you're like, this is what teamwork is supposed to be, especially like on a yacht. I know, like sometimes the interior
especially
crew,
when the girl is really hot. I think that's how teamwork.
hey, it helps, right? So this is our new Stu Elena, who has come in, without lack of a better word, because she's coming hot, and I mean, honestly, I think she is better TV than all the interior crew combined. Like just in this first episode, how are you feeling about her? I did a poll in the chat, and I asked, "Is the new Stu Elena? Is she wonderful, or we're still not sure?" 60% of you said you're not sure. 40% of you thinks she is wonderful. I actually think she was a great addition for these last 2 episodes in this last charter. But what do you think, Josh?
Oh yeah, I'm having fun with her. I thought like her attitude was great coming in. She was high energy. She wasn't shy. Sorry. She doesn't have time to be shy either. She's like, she has to start. Like it's go time. Like you're joining a team that's about to do their last charter. And so yeah, I thought she came in great, and she had a great attitude. There were a couple things she didn't know, but it was kind of fun watching her figure out. But then you saw like once she was up and going, like even she was like, oh well, she's got the laundry down. Like she actually was able to. Natalia was able to like relax and like let her take over her, laundry,
her station. Yeah,
I know, which has been like
the most important job, right? Like on the boat, really, everyone needs clothes, right? I mean, maybe they don't. It depends on the charter. But I do have to say, it was kind of fun to watch Natasha and Natalia like kind of step up the game, and Natasha had to step up a little bit. We didn't have Kyle until Elena joined. They were pretty much doing all the work there. So,
and I think we saw Natasha working at the speed we started seeing her work at,
right.
Again, like my only frustrations with her this season, aside from the whole she needs to learn to let guys go sort of thing. But other than that, the other thing that frustrated me was when she was not working at the capacity she had already demonstrated she could work at. That was super frustrating. And so now that she's back, it's great.
It's interesting to see the changing dynamics, though. We saw, Kyle is gone. He has like torn ligaments or something. And remember, like Reid just said, it's within 7 weeks. And we've said it's within 6 or 7 weeks this entire season, which is insane. So when we're watching, these relationships go through all of these, mountains and valleys, it's like, wow.
Yeah, we're watching it over 2 or 3 months. And that ain't the case.
Yeah, but this happens like overnight. It's interesting. But it was interesting to see the dynamic change between Natasha and Natalia, and to hear Natasha saying, well, now that Kyle's gone, it was interesting to see. Now Kyle is, like Reid mentioned, getting a lot of backlash, especially on Twitter. People are saying, he never really works. He was using this as a vacation. It was a fake fall. I've been reading all of that. I can guarantee you it was not. But
you can't fake an X-ray. So like you can't fake a torn ligament or a twist or anything like that. Like things that showed up on an MRI are gonna, it's real. Yeah, I don't know. I think the only thing, again, it was like the only problem I ever had with Kyle was the same as Natasha's. Like when they started to take their foot off the gas, that's when they got kind of annoying. But for the most part, no, I think, again, I wouldn't be mad if we hadn't seen them already working really strongly and at like a high level.
Right. Right. I think a lot of people are feeling that way. Well, we're on our final charter. And before we get in, I love these interesting facts about our new Stu Elena, because we're only going to see her for another week and possibly the reunion. I don't even know if I guess they're doing a reunion. They usually do. But she's Serbian. And moved to Slovenia and a couple of other countries, speaks 7 languages. 7 languages. I love when she entered the boat and she's like, hi. And everyone's like, holy shit. Like,
it was almost like a Serbian Charo arrived. I'm using a super old reference, but it works if you guys know.
Well, let's talk about the part I want to get over with the most. And before we get into that, guys, there is 100 in the room, so hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Help us out. We have one more week of Below Deck Below Deck Adventure started tonight. If you guys listen to Gangplank Report with Jen Bennington, who is in the chat, and Adrian Gang, they are dropping an interview tonight with Captain Carey from Below Deck Adventure, and it's supposed to be great. So I cannot wait to listen to it. I know you guys are going to probably love it because they do great interviews, so it'll be fun to listen to.
By the way, I think, Jason, just real quick, because you mentioned Jen, I think we're in trouble with her husband because she's staying up late to watch tonight. And so she already was tweeting me that her husband's pissed at us.
Well,
Jen, thank you. Thank you for staying up late with us tonight, Jen. And sorry to your husband. We apologize. We
apologize. By the way, I'm going to watch Below Deck Adventure right after this because I'm so, after meeting Captain Carey and having a great lunch with him, getting to know him, he's fantastic. I think he's going to be amazing TV. And I've said that before, but Watch What Happens Live was on right before we got on here tonight with the 5 captains of Below Deck: Captain Sandy, Glenn, Lee, Jason, and of course, Captain Carey. And I don't know why I'm so bothered, but it seems like I'm glad that Andy Cohen is putting some effort into some Below Deck. They did it live from the Celebrity Cruise Ship Beyond, the new ship, which is captained by its first female cruise captain, American female cruise captain, which is really interesting. But it's funny to watch how disinterested he is in Below Deck sometimes. I was so disappointed. I'm like, what are these questions, dude? Like, do you watch the show?
Does he produce the show?
No, he does not produce the show.
So Kempire was saying he noticed that Andy, just doesn't have as much, show much concern or care when it's not something he's produced. And so I wonder if that's the case. Like, because if he has, are you moving your mic, Jason?
No, I'm trying. I'm trying to get this battery on. I'm not used to this studio.
Oh, okay. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'll vamp if you need me to. No, yeah, so maybe it's the fact. See, I didn't get to watch it. I was helping Natalie after dinner and getting the kids ready and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I need to go back and actually watch that episode. But
it's really interesting that you have 5 like really amazing people there. Some of the games he plays, on Watch What Happens Live, it's supposed to be fun, and I get that, and it becomes kind of tacky and gitchy. But I'm like, you're asking questions. You're like, oh, okay, great. So next question. I'm just like, these people have amazing careers. They have amazing, resumes and CVs. It's like, come on, dude, ask some questions.
That's why I don't watch like Jimmy Fallon, because like I feel like it becomes too gimmicky, and I'm like, I actually have the patience for an interview. I wouldn't mind hearing somebody talk and share. I would like to get to know that person or hear their motivations and stuff like that. So,
100%. 100%. Anyway, let's get back into the part I didn't want to talk about, but I'm really sick of talking about Natasha and Dave. And this whole situation is so crazy to me still.
Okay, I'm giving you like 2 minutes of it, Jason.
Okay, 2 minutes. First of all, Natasha blocked Dave on social media. Are we 5? Like, first of all, okay? First. Second of all, now she needs to end it with her boyfriend, but she needed to end it with Dave because of her boyfriend. But then she left her boyfriend for Dave, and she's wondering why all these problems are happening. There's one common denominator, and this is Natasha. And I wanted to feel sorry for her because I don't agree with all of the things that Dave has put her through, as well, with messages, with name calling, with getting drunk and being really aggressive and rude. Like, I get it. However, I think these problems were kind of brought on by Natasha.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of leave people in the lurch feeling like, what do I do? Is this happening? Is it not? It's just cut the ties. The one thing that she says that's sad and kind of disturbing is she keeps going like, I'm scared of being alone. And it's like, ooh, that's a horrible motivation to be with someone.
Yeah.
It's like when people
always said she's been in a relationship.
Well, and it's also like when people talk about, oh, I got to find my other half or someone that completes me. That's not a good recipe for life. Like, you don't want to be half a person, 2 half a persons coming together and forming one person. No, you want 2 whole well-balanced people coming together and making an awesome team. So for all of you out there who are looking for your other half, or I would say join some classes, maybe go to church, find your other half within yourself, and then go be a good teammate with somebody who you can partner up with.
And someone we've talked about this a lot, someone you want to do the work with, right? Because we're all going to do work in that relationship we get in. It doesn't matter if it's the next one, the one after that, the one after that. If we don't choose to do the work will never be complete. You'll never grow. You'll never evolve.
Yeah, Jason, we were literally just talking about how no relationship is perfect. So you need to decide, is this the person that I want to work with on a relationship? Because if you're going to be in a relationship, you're going to be working. So you just need to decide, is this person the person I want to work on it with? So,
well, Natasha, this is not the person for you. And Dave, this is not the person for you. I can promise you that. But you know who has a really good reputation for choosing the right person is Captain Sandy and her lovely partner, Leah Ray, who just started their podcast. You guys got to go check that out. The Captain Sandy and Leah Ray show. I listened to a little bit of it earlier on their social media, and it sounds
actually
great.
I'm gonna subscribe right now.
So they are coming on to Hot Messy Podcast this month. I'm so excited to talk about them, or to talk with them and get to know them a little better.
Yeah, I think that's that's going to be a great interview. Well, the other thing too is, like, doesn't Captain Sandy already do like talks and stuff? Like, she already has been out there. Yeah, so she's probably got some really interesting stories to share. And then
I love too how it's not all about the yachting. Like, Sandy and Leah were just talking about how they met. And the clip I was listening to, and it was just so interesting to hear Captain Sandy said, I was at the point where I was ready to love and to be with someone. And that's, when she met her partner, who is gorgeous, by the way, gorgeous.
Yeah. I thought a sea captain would end up with someone with, a bad eye and a hook, maybe one leg, but no, she's got like a hot babe waiting for her when she returns to the shore. Right? Totally. That just like threw me off. I was like, but I thought you were married to the sea. What's up with that? So yeah, first episode is up. So I just downloaded it. So now it's
guys, check that out. I mean, you have Gangplank Report to check out.
It just dropped
today. Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Here we go, everyone.
So check it out.
I'm actually going to leave right now and listen.
Okay, bye. All right, guys. So just kidding. So I love the nickname though. Captain Sandy is the Kris Jenner of yachting. That made me laugh so hard. Do you get that reference or not, Josh? I don't think you're a big Kardashian fan, but
that's the it's not the former runner, it's the mother, right?
Yes.
Just checking. I'm just checking, because all of a sudden that changes things.
A lot changes. Yeah, no, that would be Caitlyn Jenner, who I guess would be the I don't know. Yeah,
there's
Kris
all
Jenner would be the
K's.
mom.
I get confused.
All K's. Yeah, that's very true. All K's. All right, so we have new charter guests. This is our final charter. These guests are a little odd. I mean, it's an odd group of friends. No, am I the only one who feels that way?
It was definitely a hodgepodge, and because like it was funny, like as each one spoke up, like, and kind of was introduced to us kind of on camera, I was like, oh, I didn't expect that. Like, I knew the football players were coming, obviously. That was like, this is the big thing, and that was the kind of the trailers and stuff was like, there's gonna be these football players coming on. So I was like, okay, I knew that, but then like kind of the friends that were brought and kind of the support crew, almost of them, was an interesting group. But I gotta say, the dude, he talked about, I never take my chain off, and then he goes out into the water, and they're talking about like this chain is worth, and we hear celebrities talk about these kind of chains.
Yeah, it's not worth more than Motor Yacht Home. I'm gonna have to disagree with his friend, because Motor Yacht Home is worth about $20-something million, but probably maybe the charter.
No, I think he was saying a home, not the home, like not home the yacht. He was saying as much as a home, which some of those do cost as much as maybe a small home, but it's still a home that the dude's wearing around his neck.
I can't believe
it out and just lost it into the water. Now it's pirate treasure.
pirate booty.
It's
I
pirate.
love how Courtney's like, I never say no to the guests. Let me go ask the captain and see what I can do. So he loses his chain after being jet skied around on a tube and kind of flips over. It looks like a shit ton of fun. I would love to do that. But I'm thinking to myself, if I was wearing that, wouldn't you take it off before you get in the water? Especially, it's not like tight on your neck. It's not, it was kind of strange.
To his defense, I will say, if he's used to wearing it and he wasn't thinking about it and he was in the moment and because he even said his buddy went first and then he went, because he was the second one, right?
Yeah.
So his buddy went first and then he goes, that looks awesome. Let me try. And he goes just in the moment, hops on.
Crazy.
It's one of those, I mean, just think about it. Like there's people who jump into a pool with a cell phone in their pocket and they're like, I wasn't even thinking.
Yeah, been there, done that. Yeah, that's true.
I'm not that dumb. I'm not that dumb. But anyways, I'm sure you've been there.
Why do I talk to you?
I don't know. Why are we friends at this point?
I love anyway. At least Courtney, asks. But it's so funny because Courtney already knows the answer Captain Sandy is going to give. She's like, that shit's lost. So I love how Sandy's like, so just tell him, okay? It's like, so she goes back and she's
delegated.
Like, sorry, it's so many meters deep. The tide is like the chains in Spain, I think she said, or something.
She's like, have you ever been to Disneyland? Have you ever been to New Orleans Square? There's a ride called Pirates of the Caribbean. You're now living it. So
yeah, that's it. It's crazy. These guests are so, they kind of suck, like I was thinking about just like the spaghetti noodle trick up your nose, weird. You want a pancake?
Wait. Don't just say that. You have to tell for those who haven't watched it yet.
So for those who haven't watched it, after this amazing dinner, by the way, which one of the guests orders pancakes for dinner, there is this amazing food coming out from the kitchen. And even on Watch What Happens Live tonight, Captain Sandy said the best chef she's ever worked with is Chef Dave. Wow. I would probably agree with her because he is amazing. He delivers. No matter what his emotional state is with Natasha, he seems to always deliver, right?
Yeah.
So, the guests asked for pancakes during this dinner, a certain kind of pancakes. The pancakes came out the first time kind of thin, and then he just wasn't satisfied. But I'm like, look at the stuff in front of you, dude. But then one of his friends asks if they can have like a cooked noodle so he can do this trick where he sniffs it up his nose and then brings it out of his mouth. Like that's a weird party trick. Like that just what else are you putting up your nose?
That was also big like 10 years, 15 years ago when Jackass first came out and people were doing that kind of crap. But okay, if that's what your personality's based on, who am I to judge? Let's see you do the spaghetti thing. So yeah, they got the spaghetti. He's snorting it up his nose and coughing it out his mouth. It's disgusting. But yeah, it was an odd group. But I think it was a weird group. What can I say?
It's a weird group.
It was all over the place. I don't know if I'd say they suck, Jason.
They kind of suck. Like this is your final charter. Like it sucks for the crew, right? It's like, okay, you have a Vegas night. They want a Vegas themed. No one is really like excited for this like Vegas night. Not even the crew. The crew is like, dude, the guy wants pancakes. We're putting, noodles in our nose. It's just a weird. I lost my chain that I didn't think I was going to lose on the tube.
So the other thing too is, okay, so he gives a very specific instructions on what he likes his pancakes to be. Dave hears him and goes, okay, and comes back with like essentially crepes because he said he likes crispy edges and he doesn't like them too thick. And so Dave's like, okay, that description could be a crepe. Now, I'll say this. I told Natalie he is failing right now by making this crepe because that is not what an American thinks of as a thin, like he would have been better off, I think, putting a pancake and putting some extra butter or oil in the pan so the edges crisp more and that he would have been happy. But I also think like for that dude to be such a baby and like push it away and be angry and stuff, it's like, dude,
what I wanted.
All, you're working with a chef who's from another culture, so he's thinking differently.
Well, I think he's thinking he's going to elevate it, right? You want this?
I don't think he was even trying to elevate it. I think he was
no.
trying to deliver on the description given. But a pancake there's some things that are different in America than Europe, you know, and he has to be like aware of that and stuff and just be cool. Or and the fact too that Chef Dave was trying and attempted again, and is like trying to make this guy what he wants. It's like, to be angry and mean about it is, to me,
I mean, honestly, why do you want IHOP when you can have like Michelin star? I'm not really understanding the whole experience of being on a yacht. But then I don't understand a lot of people who charter specifically yachts on below deck, because they never seem to be pleased with anything really.
Maybe that's why you and I aren't rich and famous. Like, maybe we should be more demanding. I'm actually gonna order crazy pancakes at McDonald's and scream at the register tomorrow. I think
I wanted crepes.
Yeah.
Do it in the drive-thru. Make it more obnoxious so people have to wait. Jennifer says, is his spaghetti trick worse than Ashley drunk eating spaghetti? No, that is the best spaghetti trick I've ever seen in my life, was Ashley trying to shove it all down her throat at the same time. That was so gross. I don't even have that picture anymore.
But I think if you go to OnlyFans, you could see her trying to shove it all down her throat still. So we're talking about spaghetti, right?
What if she did?
I'm talking about spaghetti. I could see how that.
Do you think Ashley from Below Deck Sailing, she has like an OnlyFans with just pasta and things she does, like I don't know. Let's not talk about that. That's gross. So Shelly says, I think he wanted good old Waffle House pancakes. They are thicker. I mean, listen, I love a good pancake. I really do. I had one yesterday. It was amazing. We have this great place across the street. It's fantastic. Oh my God. Do you know who goes to this place?
From a Denny's.
No, it's this place. I'm not going to say it, but it's a great place. The locals love it. But do you know who goes there all the time? Is Heather from Below Deck season 9.
I was going to say Heather from Below Deck season 9.
I knew it. See, we're on the same wavelength, Josh. We're on the same wavelength. Listen,
Okay.
I'm excited for next week. Let's just say that, because I think we have been through so many ups and downs. We lost Reagan. Jason chose to leave. We got Reid, thank goodness, and thank God he came on the show tonight. He's fantastic. We're not playing drinking games tonight. No, I'm just kidding. But we got Reid. Storm stepped up into his position. Kyle, Natasha, Natalia, they started off on top, and then we just saw like the demise of the interior team. They just came crumbling down, couldn't work together.
But we are seeing a redemption. We're seeing a redemption.
But now next week, when we bring Kyle back, what is going to change here?
I wonder if he'll be working, or if he's coming back for the like to party with everyone and stuff. That's what I'm curious about. I don't know if he's working, because there's not a spot for him to work. They already have someone filling the spot. I think it's more he's going to be part of the festivities.
I'm curious though, because it looked like he was coming back to work, but I'm not sure. Yeah, and he doesn't have a bed. That's very true. But I think maybe that's why he's getting so much shit on social media right now, is because people are like, well, that was a quick recovery. Now you're back to party, and you've used this as a vacation, because that's what he's getting. But we got to think back to the beginning, when Kyle was really the life of the party. He made those first 2-3 charters like epic,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm also looking forward to seeing how wild they get next week, because I have seen no one get more wild than the Below Deck Sailing yacht crew, especially from last season.
Yeah, and I mean,
I love that this is a thing, by the way. This season 9, we need to really do we should really do a drinking game. We'd all be drunk.
Spoiler alert, I haven't finished the episode. Okay, Norma. You know what you're in for when you come on here. We're gonna blab our mouths off about.
Well, Kyle hasn't returned yet. He's supposed to return next week, and yes, as Jen said, he wasn't fired. He's still on payroll. They don't have a room for him, but they do need someone who's at 100% to fill in for that role, because they're still on their charter. But a lot of people are saying, what could Kyle have done? Could he have stayed there and just stayed in the laundry room? Could he have been making drinks behind the bar? Could he? Yes. Could, would, should. But at the end of the day, I think you need to be pretty mobile to move around the yacht to really give great service.
Well, let's not forget too, even if he just stayed in the laundry room, standing up the whole time, he is in a moving boat too. Like, so if there's a jostle and he goes to catch himself and he steps on that hurt ankle and stuff, like
if those stabilizers fail again, he's
Lord knows they do every other week. So, but yeah, I think. Oh, Jolene.
Hi, Jolene. We miss you. Oh, you should come on. You should come on one night. He's a little below deck.
Let's make her come on.
Jolene, next week you're coming on the show.
Like, no. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I'm excited for next week. It looks like a lot of fun. And it's kind of fun that we get to have like, it should end with like kind of a celebration and them cutting loose and stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope it gives us some crazy stuff to see. Yeah.
That should be fun. It should be fun. I overall, I want to say the season was pretty good. You know, we had, as I said, and I'm sorry for saying this again, we had that huge disappointment of Below Deck season 9. The best thing to come out of that was Captain Sean. You know, possibly Frasier, who's now going to be the chief stew in season 10. Yes. Rachel will be back. Oh, interesting thought though. I'll save that for next week. I have an interesting thought on how, you know, I was after watching Watch What Happens Live Tonight with Andy Cohen and the way he kind of directs his energy to Below Deck and cast members of Below Deck as opposed to Housewives. I kind of have a theory, but I'll save that for next week. Yes, hashtag Team Sean. Sean will be here next week, guys. For the first 5-10 minutes, he's going to take your questions. So if you have any questions for him, I'll post something in Adam's community tab the day of Anchor Watch next week, and we can go in on that.
Oh, and we're actually going to have Bailey, Greg, and Natalie back for
everyone.
Yeah, for our big finale. So it's going to be a big party, guys. And for those of you guys who joined us for our 1-year anniversary show last week, thank you. That was a lot of fun. And so we're bringing the crew back.
I was just going to say though, yes, we have to, because I want to get everyone's kind of consensus on, you know, the season as a whole. And like I was saying, from season 9, it just, you know, it really it hit rock bottom. And then we got sailing back and we met Chef Marcos and the crew is back and it was amazing. And then we came into Med on a new boat with a revitalized Captain Sandy, a crew that kind of has really come together at the end. So I thought it was pretty good. I really did. I think the season will be pretty good. And I think the finale will be good as well. Really looking forward to what would be happening at the reunion if Reagan and Jason would be there.
I don't see it. And like, I don't know. But I don't see Reagan. I don't know. I mean, they might be on because
maybe she'll Skype in or
I could actually see. Well, remember, usually they do the reunions like Skype so I could see them having them on for the first 10 minutes or 5 minutes just to start things off and then them to be kind of dismissed at commercial break or something. But yeah, mostly I don't know. I will say this. One thing I've learned from watching this season is it did show me I do indeed want competent people. That is more fun to watch than incompetence. And
so much more fun to watch. And that doesn't mean you're going to have a lack of drama. You know, as we see on Below Deck Sailing, you have Gary and Daisy who are amazing at their jobs, but also like they can create some drama. You know? But yes, competent people are nice. This is hard to watch, but the rest is great.
I have a friend texting me, shove it all down her throat, LOL.
God. This place is gross. Well, on that note, guys, thank you for joining us tonight to recap Below Deck. Oh my God, what is this? What season are we on? Season 7, episode 18. I cannot believe that next week is the finale. Also, Josh, are we going to continue with oh, hold on, I'm reading the comments. With Below Deck Adventure, because Below Deck Adventure just premiered.
Stand by, folks. Jason and I will tell you what's going on next week. We're trying to figure it out. You know, it really sucks that they overlap these shows now because it's a real pain in the ass. We're still trying to end one, but now everybody already wants to talk about the new toy. It's like, geez.
You must have kids. You must be a dad. You sound like a dad.
Hey, real quick. I got to show everyone. Just indulge a corny dad for a second. But
corny dad.
Hold on.
Are all dads corny?
Look at my.
Oh, cute.
Hold on. It's not.
How cute are they?
They really are. Although it's not
Oh my
focused.
gosh.
It's trying to get my face. Anyways, my
we
little
don't-
Princess Leia, 2-year-old Princess Leia, and my almost 5-year-old Luke Skywalker. Anyway.
All right, guys. With that, thanks for sharing, Josh. Happy Halloween to your kids. I hope they had fun. I really do. It's a fun holiday.
It was a blast. It was a blast. I hope everyone is safe, and I hope everyone was eating candy while you watched this episode. I was going to tell everybody at the beginning, go raid your kids' bags and grab some candy.
All right, guys, we're going to let you go. We will be back next week with the entire crew of Bailey, Greg, Natalie, and Captain Sean will be here for the first 10 minutes to take questions. So if you have any questions, I received some through email. If you have any questions about the industry or anything that he can answer, he'll be here, and he will consistently be here to answer some questions, which is awesome. And we really appreciate his time. If you are part of the replay crew, please give us your consensus of this entire season. How do you think it compared? Was it great? And what you're looking forward to seeing in the finale? I'm really looking forward to seeing some people get fogged up. Should be fun. It'll be a good time. And we will see you guys all next week. Bye, everybody.